To love, my love, you. Good to go.
That's it. Honorable, my Lord and Empress, worldwide, give thanks for life, health, and strength. First of all, I'll give thanks, for the mighty life giver, the prophet, the priest, and the king, and the queen of creation, for giving the breath of life to come and, speak the words of truth. Give thanks, for the honorable prophet Daniel, that even allowed to come and give, food of 7 on the African Liberation Network, we give thanks for such, program to bring to the world, the food of 7, the Black Rights Salvation Order, I give thanks. So I like to, reason on the meaning of Bobo Shanti, the origin of the word Bobo Ashanti, where it came from, the true meaning of it, and enough ones, they really don't have a full understanding of what Bobo Shanti means. Some think it's an English word, but I come to really give a clearance of where King Manuel get this name from, and why it's so significant, and why out of all the African names, he choose Bobo Shanti, because you have enough houses and they come with enough different names, but Bobo Shanti just stand out, the name Bobo Shanti. So I like to give a clearance on the true meaning and origin of the word Bobo Shanti, So Bobo Shanti, well, Bobo is a word that used in Burkina Faso, that's in West Africa, close to Mali, like a little above Ghana. And it's the second largest city in Burkina Faso is called Bobo Dalaso. So the first word is Bobo they use, and Bobo means the indigenous people of Burkina Faso. Basically, Bobo means African. If you listen to one of King Manuel's speeches, he say Bobo means African, And when the Africans them call each other, back then they call each other Bobo. So Bobo meaning like in the Western world or other places, people call each other hey boy or hey brethren or whatever like that. In Africa, that's how we used to hail one or call one another, Bobo, basically saying hey African or hey Ethiopian, And the word Ashanti is a Twi language. It's a Twi word they use in the Kan tribe, where you call it Ghana and Kumasa. They use the word Ashanti, which means the first children, the first people. That's what Ashanti means. So when you say Bobo Ashanti, you're saying Africa's first children. You see it? So Jah know why he say certain things and why he do certain things, Jah wouldn't call Bobo Shanti just off of air because it sound good, It has an ancient meaning of it. And many ones may not know the history of the Ashanti tribe in Ghana. So the Ashanti tribe is a tribe that came, once you study them, you'll see that they migrated from Ethiopia, Kemet, around that area, even the Dugons that went to Mali. They were the same just who map out the pyramids with the stars and everything. These the same individuals. If you go in Mali, they're right there right now, They can map up the stars for you without Babylon telescope or whatever. They go right there in the sand and draw out, the constellations and everything. So these same Ashanti people was the ones that come down to the west, migrating from the Arab invasion, in Ethiopia and in Kemet, we call Egypt today, and they migrated down to Ghana. So they came with a serious culture, and it traced right back to the true Hebrews. They call themselves the true Hebrews or the true Israelites or the people that follow Moses' law. And if you look at the Ashanti way of life and you look at Bobo Shanti way of life, Rasta in general, but Bobo Shanti in particular, because we live more of the Levitical priesthood order more than the rest of the houses. So, like even with the stool, like how you have the mercy seat, the mercy seat is the golden stool. It's a stool that descended from the heavens. And Hosea Akwamfu Anaki is the high priest. He's the high priest of the Ashanti kingdom. And Akwamfu Anaki is the high priest, and Hosea Tutu is the king. So the same setup of Christ, the Son, and God the Father is the same setup from the Ashanti tribe. All that is the same setup where they have in the Bible. So once you go back to an ancient way of life, you see that all with one's read in the Bible of you can't get to the Father but through the Son. All that is an African tradition. You couldn't get to the King unless you go to the priest. The priest is the linguist. He's the messenger, the meditator. He's the one that speaks on behalf of the King. So saying Kwamfu Naki is the high priest, and Osean Tutu is the king. So one day, Kwamfu Naki, had a meeting with the elders them, and as his reasoning, a golden stool descended from the heavens and fall on Osean Tutu's lap. And this golden stool represent the mercy seat of God. That's how they identify it, the mercy seat. And that's why you see it was so much war. They had 100-year war in Ghana with the Ashantis, the British, just to get this stool, just to sit on it, And when it comes to the libation dealing with asking Jah for forgiveness and dealing with a passing of one, the libation, it come right from the Ashanti tradition. If you look up the history of when King Manuel made a move, and Priest Zebby was the one that did Asian ritual, with the rum and everything to make sure, you have a rites of passage, or a ram. And the libation is real because when Jah first make a move, ones and ones, trying to figure out how they could deal with the structure. They didn't have no ceremony yet. They didn't have nothing yet. And when it was time to do that stage, Priest Abby came in and did the libation, and the angels them came and sing chorus and get through the all, how it's supposed to. But when Priest Abby did a libation, that's when everyone saw the whirlwind come out of Jah, out of Jah casket and just, blow everyone away, going in a whirlwind to show you that you win a one pass, you have to do a ritual, a rites of passage of the one soul, really sail on smoother seas, because if a one pass and you'd given the right rites of passage, or one soul could be trapped same way. So libation is a very important thing when it comes to the Ashanti tradition. So we give thanks, that connection, with the libation. And even with the stool, Priest Abby told me one time, when he visited Dada, he saw, I guess, an angel gave Jah a gift of a replica of the golden stool. And Jah had it right next to his throne, as he said, he had the golden stool right next to his throne. And in the Ashanti tradition, the king never sit on the golden stool. It was so sacred, the king never sit on it. You see it? So that's why, we have to go deep into I-9 tradition, try to find out why, Jah say this, why Jah do this, because it all connected back to Africa, in our ancient way, you know what I mean? Even the sacrificing a lamb. The Ashantis them take part in that. And they say the sacrificing of the lamb, is symbolically of the lamb coming and giving up himself, So they deal with all them things there physically, back then, Christ didn't come in the flesh as yet, how he come now. So they was doing the same things what you see in Leviticus, sacrificing with blood and lamb and them thing there, And the Sabbath, they keep the Sabbath. The Ashanti tribe keep the Sabbath, and they call the Sabbath Mimda. That means the I am's day. You see it? So they reverence the Sabbath too, the Ashanti tribe. So enough practices they keep. You could similar to I am, King Manu just come and bringing it to a more, pure form, where I am could be the sacrifice instead of using blood and all them things there. And they use the drum, for calling the community. Like adoration, you know what I mean? So same thing I am, we use the drum, and they use 7 trumpets. They use trumpets too to call ones to service, call ones to, give praises or give reverence. Same thing with I am, Jah blow the conch shell 6 in the morning, 12 noon, and 6 in the evening to give reverence. You see it? So it all connected, even with the robe colors for Joseph, and Dara come with the red, gold, and green garments. Same thing with the Ashanti, they come with the kente cloth, the kente cloth, that colorful garments represent the robe of many colors, So all this is a connection to I am, that's why Jah used Ashanti, because I am are the original first people, and like enough tribes have mystic powers and they have dread, history, they have significance, special significance, but the Ashanti tribe is different, from all the other tribes of Africa. The Ashanti tribe on a different level, especially with the golden stool descending from the heavens. That there alone to show you that Jah chose them. Jah chose the Ashanti people, out of all the tribes in Africa, because they call themselves the children of Judah. You see the Ashanti children, and I and them are the true children of Judah, because we praise the conquering lion, the tribe of Judah. So I and them, we come up under the demand umbrella. So I and them is the true Ashanti children of Judah. You see it, and even with the scepter, you have the king, a Kwamfu, a Naki, and a San Tutu. They have like the rod, like how Jah got the rod, a Kwamfu, a Naki, the high priest. You have a rod, a scepter. They have an ancient name. They call it the Akiham Puma. That's the rod, but a Kwamfu Naki carries. They have 3 faces on it, representing the triune God, the Trinity God, and they deal with the Trinity same way. And they have a tree that they reverence called the Ayami Dua symbol. It's a tree in Ghana that it looks like it just have 3 branches. It's a sacred tree. They use it to heal enough people. They use it as a holy water. They mix water with it as a holy water, and they purify it, and they, like they say, they heal children with, children that have colds and, and a sneeze and a lot, sinus and thing. Yeah, man, they use that tree to heal enough illnesses and thing, So this tree here, it represents the Trinity, because for some reason, it always grow like with 3 branches. So they symbolize that as the Trinity. So they deal with the Trinity same way. You see it. So once you study the Ashanti tradition, you will see, the resemblance and the connection with I and them same way, you'll see the connection. So we give thanks for, the Ashanti tribe, that's come to really keep I and them remembrance of I and ancient tradition too. One go there. They have a Kwamfu Anaki has a sword in Kumasi, in the capital. I think it's by the hospital. It's a sword. When you go there, it's in the ground. No one can take the sword out. It almost just like the story where they get King Arthur from with the sword, when you put the sword in the stone and no one could take it out. That story came from Kwamfu Anaki. He put a sword in the ground and no one could take that sword out. They done gone and tie that, they chained that down to big tractors, and the tractors them couldn't pull the sword out. Enough big heavyweight champion man them who in the we call it now in the heavyweight arena, man them who's lift weights and things. They go there and they try to lift it, they try to pull it out. They couldn't pull it out. They wondering how that could do that. Because the man then put a ritual on that. No one could take that out, So that's how the Ashanti tribe is a significant tribe, and building up on the Presebi and being around him, I always used to hear him talk about the Ashanti people. I never paid no mind because I didn't think that they had a connection with I and them. I always thought that I and them was a totally different type of Bobo Shanti from them. But when he first came and he said he met Jah when he came from Ghana, because he's a Can angel too. He's a Ashanti angel, born and raised in the land and know the culture, know the customs and the rituals and everything. So him meeting Jah now, when he first reached on the hill, he saw the red, gold, and green. That was done a plus. He said, all right. They fly in the same colors of my country, that even made it more interesting. So when he reached in now, he said, all right, let me meet this king now who everyone talking about, who I heard about from in Africa, And when he met Jah, and he saw Jah continents and see how the man running his kingdom, and he saw the red, gold, and green with the black 5-point star, just like Ghana flag, and Jah sit him down and reason with him, and he say Jah show him that he's waiting on him a little while, and he was telling the angels them that an angel from Africa coming soon, and when he first went through the gate, daughter showed them, say, see the man there now. And Jah didn't even physically met him yet or spoke with him yet. As soon as he reached in, because I think he said he had on a cap or whatever, so he wasn't like Bobo yet. But when he reached in, Jah say, see the man there now, what I was telling you all about. And when he reached Jah and he reasoned with Jah and he asked Jah a few questions, and then that's when it confirmed that, yeah, this man is a Kwamfu Anaki return, the same Ashanti high priest, the man will come with the red, gold, and green, and Jah come with the red, gold, and green even before Ghana rise their banner, and what's so mystic is the emperor was there when Ghana got their independence, the first to get independence from colonial ruling. And the emperor is right there for the rising of the red, gold, and green in Accra, and in them time, and daughter done had the red, gold, and green heisting up. He done was presenting the red, gold, and green to the queen and different officials and governments and things. So that show you that the man they come and bring the Ashanti kingdom to the world even before they even establish it in Ghana. The man come and show them off this kingdom coming with the rainbow color, And in the Revelations, that's Revelation 7, it show you that the man coming with a rainbow circle throne, rainbow colors, the rainbow above his head. So the only man will come with that is daughter, King Manuel Charles, that, that come with the red, gold, and green throne, red, gold, and green turban, halo, on top of his head, the red, gold, and green banners. And even though the sodomite world come with they colorful colors, they Johnny come lately, and Jah have his dates and time, and you could see that he come with these ancient colors before them, because enough people they just heist in the red, gold, and green with the rainbow colors because they supporting the sodomite society. But we give thanks, that Jah to come and done establish such colors of a righteous kingdom, and Satan try to come and flip the strip and try to make it seem that Satan come with the rainbow colors, But we give thanks for God who come and show himself, that he is the rainbow God, that come with the rainbow circle throne. And the Ashanti them, even on Tuesday, which is the third day, they don't go in the sea. They don't go in the sea. They don't do no fishing or nothing like that, because the third day, Jah created all the creatures of the sea and them thing there. So the Ashantis them don't go fishing on a Tuesday. That's forbidden. They don't go fishing on a Tuesday because the Tuesday is a sacred day. So we give thanks, for them understanding same way. And I remember Priest Abby told me about that, try to avoid going on the sea on a Tuesday, and when they name their youths them, they try to name their youths them by days, like Saturday is Nemninda, Friday is Fida, and Thursday is Yauda, and Wednesday is Wukuda, and Tuesday is Benida, Monday is the Jovida, and Sunday is Huesida. They different names you could give your youths them to different days, And in African tradition, we always give our youths them names that have purpose, names that have a reason, names that have a significance, We don't just name them John or Paul or Jerry, that don't have no meaning, We always give them spiritual meaning. And even the names alone too, if the person is not living up to that sacred name, they could bring a judgment on themselves same way. You get ones that name their youths them after different ancient kings and priests that live a holy life or a righteous life, and the youths them carry the names and they live in a folly life, and that name go against their lifestyle because they ain't living up to that sacred name. But it's good to give your youths them these names so the names could even cover them too. The names could overtake their life, and their life can have meaning according to the name. So we give thanks, for the Ashanti tradition that come and teach I that, and we have to name our children, sacred names, that their name have a meaning, that type of way. So yeah, man. So we give thanks. And they have different symbols too. The Gaia Yami symbol, they have different symbols that they draw on the walls, symbols of protection, just like how Dada come with symbols, Dada come with the 5-point star, you come with the lion, you come with the crown head, all these the symbols that's, that signifies power, that shows power and its authority, its sovereign kingdom, Same thing, the Ashanti Dam, they have symbols, like I say, like the Gaia Yami, it means accept God. All these symbols have meanings behind them, they ain't just drawings or paintings, they have the Sankofa symbol, you have the Hai Havi symbol, you have the Oyini Nawa symbol, it means below. Barbie Wu Sawa symbol is symbolized forever present reality of God. All these are symbols that mean something. The Huyini Anawa mean the symbols of God, I. that see everything everywhere. Then you have the Ni So Woma symbol of the main symbol of our dependence upon God. Once you type in these names, you will see the symbols pop up, and individuals would paint these symbols on their gates in their home for protection. You know, this the same thing with Jah. You know, when you go into a Bobo Shanti house, you'll see the 5-point star, you'll see the R. You know, you see the red, gold, and green, red, black, and green. All these are symbols of protection. Same way, not only symbols to signify his kingdom or show the sovereignty of his kingdom, but they have spiritual powers behind them. Same way, you know. When you see the R, you know the R represents righteousness, everything that is right. You know, repatriation, redemption. You know, give thanks for the Aman that come with all good things are right. You know. So yeah, man, we give thanks for the Ashanti kingdom, We give thanks for Bobo Shanti, the first people, the first Africans, And if you listen to Jah say he had a vision, he was the first Christ. So if he's the first Christ, that's mean his children is the first children. That's why it makes sense naming us Bobo Shanti, And Tui Shanti means first children, Bobo means African, First African children, Africa first children, the children of Judah, the emperor children, the king that sit upon the rainbow circle throne in Ethiopia children, So we have to give thanks that I am house is the first house. Not say bragging or anything, because the man house have many mansions, many different ways you could get them. That's why when you see the emperor go on state visits and meeting different people of different walks and different religions, and he tolerate them, he try to understand them and comprehend them, because he know that every religion that deal with righteousness and holiness, it leads back to him, So I can't say that Bobo Shanti is the only way and any other way will be death and destruction. I can't say that. That's the only way for me and for others who choose this way. But you have many different other tribes in Africa that choose a different spiritual path to get to one God, So that's why, the emperor is understanding is different from the normal person understanding. You see it? So normal people, they look at him as, he's accept anyone, and he goes and meet enough different type of religions and people of other faiths or whatever like that, or they try to say he's a partial god, but that ain't really how the emperor moved. The emperor understand that enough different spiritual paths lead to him. It's like going through different avenues but leading to the same destination. So we have to try to understand, other individuals, they perception of God and their way of going to the supreme creator, and because everyone feel like they way right, but once you know that the man have many mansions, many ways to get them, your meditation and your thinking become broad, and you begin to tolerate people and understand people and have more compassion and that debating and argumentative type of vibe. You start to move away from that, and start to just spread the love. I know that the man have many ways to get to him. Once it's righteous, once it's dealing with salvation, once it's dealing with love, the man accept, the man know our hearts. You see it. So we give thanks, for this ancient tradition, the Ashanti tradition, the ancient Ashanti tribe, the Akan people, and the Fanti people. The Fanti and the Akan, they're the same, you know. The Fanti and the Akan, they're the same people. They're just different names. You know, you have Ga, you have Twi. You see, Twi is Ashanti, you know, and then you have Ga, Fanti, and then you have the you have the Akan, you have the Fanti, and then you have the Yoruba. You know, all these people, all these tribes, they're from the same house. They come from the same empire, but through, you know, different kings start to rule, they start to branch off and go separate ways. The Yoruba went to Nigeria, the Khan stayed in Ghana, Kumasi. Then you have the Dugans that went to Mali. You know, all these people are the same people, you know, that came from out of Ethiopia, out of Kemet, you know, through the migration from the Arabs them, you know, and even they reach even to Mali. Because if you go in Mali, you have, you know, most of them is Islamic, you know, they deal with Islam, you know, they're Muslims. So I can tell you that Islam was trying to conquer the whole Africa, and especially East Africa, like in Ethiopia, Uganda, Rwanda, you know, and them type of areas. You know, the Islamics started to take over and put us in slavery, because if they was the first to even enslave us, you know, the Arabs, you know, before, I think 1,000 years before the Europeans enslaved us, it was the Arabs, you know, that enslaved the black world of people, you know. So when I see, you know, I know them people proud to say they're Muslim and think they're, you know, it was then even saying they proud to be Christians, because it was the Arabs that first, you know, enslave I and them and indoctrinate us, you know, with their religion, you know. I wouldn't say the elements didn't come out of Africa, the elements of the religion. When I say elements, I mean in like the robe and the turbine and the praying on the mat, you know, and them type of thing there, you know, and certain practices, you know, that they keep, it come from Africa, you know, but the whole religion, you know, it didn't, it's a European setup, you know, how they set it up. Even with Christianity, they take piece of I and culture and they turn it into their way of life and indoctrinate us. They make the black Christ white, you know, they kept the robe and they cut the locks, take the turbine off. So they do things to suit their own convenience, and then they try to throw it on us and say I and real life is savage, and they try to say they civilized and I them, you know, but they really came to disconnect us, you know, so we could be lost, so we wouldn't see the connection. So we give thanks for King Manuel who come and, you know, bring the connection to I and them, you know, that come to show I and them we are ancient people, robe and turbine people, you know, a people that greater than what they say we are, you know, and they try to limit us with the Bible same way too. They try to, you know, because the Ashanti, I never see them mention nothing but the Bible. They just refer that the people with the Bible talk about is them, but they really don't deal with the Bible like that. They basically saying that the Bible is them, you know, but through slavery, King Manuel come and show us ourselves in the Bible. That's why he used the Bible, you know. But when we get forward home in our own tradition, living our own way of life, we don't really need the Bible. We'll be the Bible, you know. We'll be that walking holiness, you know. We'll be those ones that have to write our own testimony, just like how you see it of John, Jeremiah, Isaiah, these individuals that given their account, you know, of how they see the Creator and their experience with the Creator and the insights and the visions he showed them, of his coming and of his glory. So these man them, they give their own personal account, their own testimony and their own revelation, of the man glory. So that's the same thing with I and I them. We's the same individuals, who could write the same holy text them of the man glory and and how he played such a great impact in our life, and how he brought us from the world of sin. You could find enough individuals right now who could write a book on how King Manuel changed their life, how the Christ changed their life, and that's a Bible in itself, So it'll be good to look into, right now own holy books, even with the Black supremacy. I noticed in the service when I went on the hill, the priest was culturing out the Black supremacy book, just like how when we culturing out the Bible and whatever, I see the priest culturing out the Black supremacy book. So I asked the priest, I said, "This is the first time I see this. How come we culturing out the Black supremacy book?" So he's saying the Black supremacy book is basically the original Bible. That's the words of Christ himself. That's Christ's fingers himself. So like the Bible, basically he's saying the Bible can't even come on side of that. Like that's the man holy book in this century, in this time, So he's basically saying this is what we have to get to. Create right now our own testimonies, having our own sacred text, and reading it on the goal as our new Bible, our the real thing, no dilution where in the Bible you have like a symbolic, you have right and wrong, You'll see in Leviticus 21 to show you that even in number 6, it say to grow your hair in locks, and Leviticus 21 to show you that cover your locks with the turban, and then you go back to the New Testament in Galatians and Corinthians. I think it's Corinthians is showing you that it's a shame for a man to have long hair. So you see the controversy, you see the mix up, try to confuse you, saying it's a blessing for a woman to have long hair, but it's a shame for a man to have long hair. So them things there, it create confusion, through the religious gang system, tampering with the Bible and doing their own thing with it, to suit their own convenience, So that's why it's I could see Jah writing the Black supremacy book and priests them using it as a holy text on the goal, because we have to start right now on book, So I give thanks for that clearance, I give thanks for that clearance, And then, but I noticed with the Ashanti tribe, with them, they deal with more like the priest and the king, the priest and the king way of life, where the you can't get the father unless you get through the son. When I see them come with that, that's when I know that yes, this this the way. I see why Jah choose that. So you can't get to the emperor unless you go to King Manuel. It's the same set way, same set thing. So that's when it take my eye more. It get my attention. I say, yeah, man, this the ancient way right here, man. Because before I used to, enough people used to think it's like Christian concept. You can't get to the Father but through the Son, and then when you think about it and you look at all the ancient kings, them you couldn't get to the kings unless you go to the priest. The priest is the one that can wash you up, clean you up, and make sure you appropriate, dress appropriate, and your mind, is clear before you go in the king presence, and the king trusts the priest to do the right thing. Make sure your heart clean, your heart pure and your hand clean, coming to him. So I give thanks, for King Manuel who come to walk in that same order, that Kwamfu Anak, the high priest order, the cleanser, the purifier, the linguist, the messenger, the man that speaks the king language on behalf of his people, you know. That's the only way we could get to the king. The king ain't really, I wouldn't say the king can hear you, but the king really set the order where he only listening to you unless it's coming through his messenger. Just like in the world today, you can't get to what is it, the prime minister unless you go through one of his MPs. He has a cabinet, he has a parliament where you can't get to him unless you go through the people he legislate or put in place to get to him. Just like the Ashanti them, they have elders. They have elders that gather around 21, like this, 21 elders. And to get to the king or the high priest, you go through those elders they put in place. And then when they want to cast a judgment, the elders give their input, and then the priest gives his last say. Even the king listens to the priest because the priest supposed to be wise, full of wisdom. The priest supposed to be a man of knowledge, the man that gives the king good advice. So even though the king has the last say, the king still goes to the priest and asks the priest what he think. And the priest, whatever the priest say, the king will, all right, I'll go with what the priest say. And that's the same thing with a Kwampunaki and Osean Tutu. Whatever Kwampunaki say, Osean Tutu go with it because he trusts that the priest can make a righteous judgment, He's a righteous judge. So that's the same thing with the Bobo Shanti order. The emperor know that King Manuel will judge righteously. He know that King Manuel will be fair, and he know that he will bring a righteous order to him. And in Africa, he know Jah ain't gonna bring no folly into Africa, like enough other organizations, and people, they go to Africa and do their own thing and opposition and all them thing there. But, that King Manuel set his order to redeem Africa, to bring Africa to a right, and to bring I and myself into a right. So we give thanks, man, for this ancient order, Melchizedek order, the man that come with the meditation order, the royal linguist, the man that come and make himself, the sacrifice, the sacrificial lamb. You see what I saying? So yeah, man, the man that come with the crook stick, and it's the same thing with Hosea or Kwamfu Naki come with a rod that has the three faces on it, represent the Trinity, the man dealing with the Trinity God, So we give thanks, man, for this ancient order, not just that ancient order, the Sabbath, and Friday, they call Friday Earth Day, they call Friday Earth Day because that's when everything on earth was completed. So they call Friday Earth Day. You see it? And they're trying to say that earth became a mother on that day because earth, that's when man was created, the sixth day to prepare for the Sabbath. So the Ashanti tribe, they call Elefantes, they call Friday Earth Day. You see it? Yeah, Odam Kuma. That's the Mother's Day, Friday, preparing yourself to meet, the bride, it's the Sabbath, So they reverence the Sabbath. They take the Sabbath serious. They take the Sabbath serious. I didn't know that either until, I studied them and recently with Priest Avalon, and he showed me that the Ashanti people, they reverence the Sabbath, and they reverence the Sabbath. That's one of the first commandments, one of the most ancient commandments God ever gave to humanity, it's the Sabbath. And that's the same type of principle King Manuel come bring to the world. He come make the Sabbath his foundation to run his government. The Sabbath is the main engine to bless his government, that everything else after comes, after the Sabbath, the Sabbath is what brings the blessings to his Congress. He know that the Sabbath, like without keeping it, everything just could fail. That's why he make it the foundation. Foundation means when you putting your house down, the house need a foundation so it can stand strong. So basically the Sabbath is the bracelet. The Sabbath is what holds his government up. So if we let that go, that's mean if the foundation ain't strong, you don't know the place could collapse. So once we keep the foundation strong, everything else come after. Yeah, man. So for him to make the Sabbath his foundation, the Sabbath have to be him. And he's the Sabbath. That's why he's saying he's the Lord of the Sabbath. You see it? And that's the reason why the Ashanti people, they reverence the Sabbath so much, They call it the I am's day, Mimda, means the I am day, Mim is I, Mim and Ni is am, and Da is day. I am day, Mimda, on a Saturday, the Ashanti people. So when we go to Ghana, it's just a connection, That when we go to Ghana, that's I tradition, that we carry an I ancient Ashanti tradition forward to Ghana, That's why we can connect, Even when you meet them, it'll be a little different because we come in the name of Rastafari and we come in the name of the emperor and them thing there, and then well, some of them they say yeah and we say ja and thing, but once you have a clear understanding and you could reason with them and show them the connection and they'll see, and once you could show them within the Leviticus order and how the ceremonial order go and how we see the king and the priest and the setup of, the whole heavenly kingdom, they'll understand, it's just how you give them the food, and I always try to understand, I was trying to understand like where Bobo Shanti came from. And studying now I see the significance of the name Bobo Shanti, African, the first African children, the first African children of the divine holy kingdom, and we have the first Christ, with us, the first Okompo Anak, the high priest of Salem, the Prince of Peace, that type of way, So we give thanks, once again, for this divine understanding, of Bobo Shanti, that is ain't just a name King Manuel just made up and come up with, but it's an ancient African name and it's not English, It's a Kan or Twi language, Bobo is what you call it now, a language from Burkina Faso, and Bobo is a language. In Burkina Faso, they speak Bobo language. You see it? So Bobo is a language same way. When you go to Burkina Faso and they ask you if you speak Bobo language, So Bobo ain't have nothing to do with English. It have nothing to do with the Western Hemisphere, Bobo means African, and Ashanti is first children. So anytime, or one asks you why King Manuel used the word Bobo Shanti to identify us, you could give them a clearance and let them know why, that the Bobo Shanti means Africa's first children, the children of the Gold Coast, the children that came from, the forests of gold and wealth and riches, from Accra, and here we in the Bahamas, you could trace, well, if you read a book called Slave in the Bahamas, it shows you that majority of the Africans here came from Ghana. Like if you see the Junkanoo, like I said in the last lecture I did, Junkanoo is an ancient king, a king in Ghana and Accra called Junkanoo. He was a chief, and he used to use the festivals and the costumes and stuff like that dance the movement of the stars. So even here, when you see John Canoe, that's a Kan tradition. That's a Ashanti culture. Even with the outside oven, that's a Ashanti way of life. Doing the outside rock oven and thing. That's how it was here before too. Right outside of my gates, I still have the 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 concrete slab and everything where the outside oven was, where my great grandmother was cooking in the outside oven, and doing my research and reading the Slavery in the Bahamas book to show you that we left Africa with that culture, the Canam, the ancient Ashanti people used to do rock ovens, Yeah, man. So we give thanks, for that connection, you know, and I give thanks for King Manuel for coming restore that memory within me. Because I could always remember when I met one European brethren when I was but 14, and he told me, it's very important to find out where you're from, find out where you're from, which tribe you're from, which part of Africa you're from, and then you'll know where you're going. And I always had that behind my meditation that I have a lot of searching to do, because I was puzzled, it started to make me very miserable because he was letting me know that, okay, brethren, you're not from here. You've been given your identity, almost like the Matrix, You've been given your identity, you've been given the clothes you wear, you've been given the food you eating, everything that you have, everything you're doing was not of your custom, So you need to find yourself. You need to find where you come from. You need to find who you was, where you need to find yourself. Because right now you're living in someone else's image. And this is a white elder, white old brethren from, I think he's from Scotland, And that was real. It only could have been Josh set that up like that because you wouldn't find much Europeans really telling you the truth like that, especially the older generation, because the older generation, the prejudice more, more severe. Their prejudiceness and how they feel towards us is more severe. So to get that from an elder at that time, it only could have been Jah would use him, to really give me that clearance, and from then my search was on, to find out where I was from and where I come from. And I can remember when I first reached in the camp and I met Priest Coakley, Elder Priest Coakley and Priest Abba from Bobo Hill. But I met him right here in the Bahamas. And Priest Abba's in there same way. When I reached there, they looked down at me and Priest Abba and Priest Coakley told Priest Abby, this one here from your tribe, Priest Abby. You from your tribe. And Priest Abby like, yeah, man, that's true. I don't know how they see it. I don't know. They just could have see that the connection and was there. So he's like, yeah, man, Priest Abby, this brethren now, he from your tribe. Yeah, man, you can see it's Ashanti, man. And then they called me up and that was it. They took me on their wing and my journey began there, and he was giving me, the understanding of the Ashanti people and who they are, and what they did, and the 100-year war with the British. The last great war was with on Ya Ashantiwa, Queen Ya Ashantiwa. And they wanted to take the stool, the golden stool. And all other brethren them was scared. They was cowering out, And she stood up and she said, you know what? I ain't gonna let these people, these flesh them come and take this golden stool that represent our nation. It represents the soul of our people. We blessed to have this. The golden stool basically is like the Ark of the Covenant. It's like the Ark of the Covenant. It's sacred. and especially in the way it came to him, is sacred. Coming down from the heavens in pure gold. No one made it. It just come down straight from the heavens, from the stars, from the galaxies, and landed on Ocean Tutu lap. You know, that's something we're fighting for. So she said she's gonna fight. To the bitter end, and she rally up other queens them, and they went and fight with the British. And they was winning until one of the soldiers caught her daughter, and they demand her surrender. You know, and because she wanted her daughter, you know, out of harm's way, she surrendered to them, and they sent her to the Seychelles Islands, and she was in prison there, until she died. But if it wasn't for that, they would have won the war. They would have won the war. That's why you see the British took over. That's why they took over Ghana, and in 1957, they got their independence. Kwame Nkrumah from them from that time. So we give thanks for Kwame Nkrumah. But King Manuel say he's the angel, of the red, gold, and green. Because he is the one that really rises. So Jah always give thanks for Kwame Nkrumah. And Kwame Nkrumah said in his journey in New York and stuff, going to school, he used to wash dishes on a ship. I don't think the ship was Black Star Liner. No, he named the ship Black Star Liner when he reached to Ghana. He named the first ships in Ghana the Black Star Liner. But when he was in New York, he used to wash dishes and like janitress, like cleaning up and doing the odd work. You know what I mean? Mopping and cleaning up. Just like how you see in Coming to America with Eddie Murphy cleaning King, mopping in McDonald's and them thing there, trying to represent I and Adam leaving from our glory, coming down here in hell, and being, slaves coming to a low state, But he said he used to study the philosophy and opinions of Marcus Garvey, and that's where he got his inspiration from, like the fight for freedom, fight for African freedom, and when he reached, Africa, back to Ghana, he had a different mission, and he agitated to be the ruler, the leader, his kingdom, his home, and that's how he got to be, the president, through Marcus Garvey inspiration. So we give thanks for the prophet, priest, and king. So even Marcus Garvey even have a connection with, the Ashanti, even, rising that ancient African spirit. Because if it wasn't for Marcus Garvey, he wasn't have been waking, he'd have still been asleep. So through Marcus Garvey, Kwame Nkrumah wake up, the ruler, the leader of the Ashanti kingdom, who gave Ghana their independence or fought for their independence, was through Marcus Garvey, same way. So, the connection still come to I, because we hail him as I them God, the prophet, he's part of I them Trinity, what I'm saying? So that's the same said God that come to redeem I, the God on the staff, on Kwamfu Naki staff with the three figures. That's the three figures right there. Marcus Garvey, King Manuel, and Selassie, and three of these figures play a great part within the Ashanti kingdom. Marcus Garvey was the one that wake up the first, president. King Manuel come with the first colors, the first banner, the liberty of the Ashanti people. And the emperor was the king that, overseed and was there for the rising of the red, gold, and green, and Ghana gaining their independence. So the three in one God, the triune God was always there. So we give thanks for that connection. We give thanks, ones and ones, tuning in to understand the significance of Bobo Shanti, connection with the Shanti or the Kan people of Ghana, the Kan tribe, and know that Ghana is the gateway. I see why Dada say it is the gateway, because that's I and I them door. That's I and I them way. That's why it's the gateway. It's I and I them way. You know what I mean? We more accepted there. Our lifestyle is more accepted there. We don't have to deal with the red down misunderstanding. Like if I'm not saying you can't, you ain't gonna have that. You will have peace in Ethiopia, yes, but you wouldn't have that tension with the red up and the red down, and then you will have a more understanding of your tradition in Ghana because it connects with the Ashanti people. You see, so that's why Dada say it's the gateway. That's the way to go to get to all the other states. Through there, it's the best way to go to get yourself set up to move through, more accepting, and the chiefs them understand, we have more rights. We go there and get land, we get land, and once you could prove that you're a descendant, slave descendant from the West, you grant land, and you could go and start, building a future there. It's not easy like that in the other states. And Ethiopia is not easy like that. You know what I mean? So Ghana is the way. Ghana is where our soul really reside. That's where I had tradition, was birth, the Ashanti kingdom, the Ashanti people, the Bobo Ashanti people, the people that reverence the Sabbath, people that reverence Memimda, the I ams, the people that deal with the drums, the talking drums, the Ashanti, they call the drums the talking drum because when they play, it's like the drums sending messages. It's speaking, it's not just noise. That's why they call it the talking drum, because when they play the drum, it speaks. It speaks an ancient language only nature understand. It speaks a language that the man with the carnal eardrum, the carnal mind, he cannot understand that type of language. Only nature and those who are in tune could understand, the talking drum of the Ashanti. So we give thanks, for Father Joseph, who come with the kente cloth, who come with the robe of many colors. We give thanks for the man that sit upon the mercy seat, the man that come with the mercy seat, the golden stool, that descended from Zion. In the scriptures, the mercy seat came from the Almighty, came from God. So that's the same ancient seat, the same ancient throne. So we give thanks for such glory, such connection, what King Manuel come bring to the world. Yeah, man, we give thanks for the black Christ that come and set I and I free. And you have to have a open mind, and your eyes got to be open to really see who the man is, because enough have eyes and can't see, and ears and can't hear, mouth and cannot speak the words of life that people could, understand and see the significance, and the connection the man come and bring to the world. Holy Emmanuel, I, Selassie, I, Jah, Rastafari. I give thanks for all those that are tuning in to get such food of right, food of life for the good, and to get a clear understanding, what Bobo Shanti really mean and the word and where it came from and who we are, and how far we came from. you know. So this when Jah say this a Ethiopian tradition, you know, Ethiopia Africa Black International Congress Church, this tradition really came from Ethiopia. Because if you see, like I said earlier, the Ashanti tribes migrated from Ethiopia, from Kemet, Sudan, and them area. They migrated from the invasion, from the Arab invasion, and went down to the west, where it's more, you know, green, into the forest, so they could be hidden. You see it, and after that, then we came into slavery down here, and they didn't beat it out of all of us. Enough of us still had our ancient tradition, our understanding of our culture and rituals with us. Just like in Haiti, you know, they came down from Benin and they came with the voodoo, you know, rituals, the voodoo understanding, the science, and they kept it. Up to this day, they still practice it and they still preserved it, you know. So they didn't really take it out of all of us, you know, enough of us still had it and we pass it on to our generation. So it's the same thing right here with King Manuel, you know. They didn't beat it out of him. They didn't take it from him. The man, you know, kept the tradition and he passed it on to I and Adam, you know, and that's what we must do to our children, you know, pass it on, you know, don't dilute it, don't destroy it, you know, and show them that, you know, the Ashanti kingdom, the Ashanti people, the Bobo Ashanti, it's a ancient tribe, it's an ancient tradition, it's an ancient people, you know, and our way of life is the first way of life. The Ashanti people, the first people, you know, that means we are the first ancient way, you know, I and Adam life, you know. So we have to glorify it and take advantage of every moment of perfecting it, you know, and trying to, you know, make it shine. And that's what King Manuel want us to do, to make it shine, you know, and come together and let the world know of the anciency of such kingdom, you know, Bobo Shanti house, you know. You even listen to a audio of Ja explain what Bobo Shanti is, you know, and you hear me like Bobo Shanti means African children, you know, the children of the Most High, you know, God's children, you know, and God's children is the first children. So that'll give you this, he give you the clearance in his own way. You just have to understand, you know, where he coming from and put the dots together still, you know. Holy King Manuel the 7th, Adonai God, Jah, Rastafari. I do give thanks, you know, and send my love to the royal family, 4 wings of the earth, my Lord and Empress and little ones. We give thanks, you know, for this divine order. We give thanks for the Bobo Shanti children. Give thanks for all the children of Rastafari, you know. Give thanks for all those that love the man. And you even get ones that they don't claim to be Bobo Shanti, but they love King Emmanuel still. They respect the man and honor the man, and they know what the man come to do and come to bring to the world, you know. And they can see the man glory still shining, you know, through his children, 4 wings of the earth, you know. We give thanks for the last remaining fortress, you know, the Bobo Shanti house, you know. Might not be in full effect and functioning like how the Father would want us to, but we're still here, you know, and we still have a chance to make it right. You know, we still have a chance to keep the thing rolling, you know. We still have a chance, you know. Enough don't have this chance we have, you know, like look at the Pinnacle, you know, and many other houses, you know, they fail, you know, with Babylon, you know, destroyed them, you know, and Babylon tried to destroy, you know, the Bobo Shanti house same way, but King Manuel was persistent and consistent and setting his kingdom, setting it where it cannot be destroyed, you know. The man, you know, he wasn't stopping. He wasn't getting tired. He wasn't getting weary. Every different camp he set up, when they bulldozed it, he didn't get weary and fall weak and be like, oh, I tired or I can't do this no more. And you know, the man keep pushing because he know that all right, this I have to set this before I make a move and before I leave this earthly realm, I have to do this, you know. And all I and Adam have our part to play, just like how Jah had his part to play for I and Adam, we have our part, you know, and we just have to come together and do our part, you know, and come and perfect our purpose, you know, what we come to do, you know. Everyone have a different calling, but for the same aim, you know. One aim, you know, one God, you know, one destiny, you know what I mean? One aim and object. But you have enough avenues that could make that same aim, you know, great. So, you know, let's come together and use our resources, you know, to make Bobo Shanti House bright as it was again, you know. I saw a video clip with Ja today when the hill was, you could have count the houses on the hill. You know, you could have count the houses, you know, in the Bobo Shanti house. And Ja there, you know, overseeing the construction of the kingdom, you know. Compared to how it looked now, it wasn't really no houses there. It almost looked like it was just a God house there on the foundation, you know. So that could show you how far we come from and how hard the man worked, you know, to build his house for us so we could have a home, you know. We could have a eternal home, a home to call our own, you know, a house to call our own, you know. The man work hard for us, you know, and we have to do the same thing, and we should do the same thing, you know, work hard to keep what he fight for alive, you know. Don't let it go down in vain, you know. We owe it to him. We owe it to ourselves. We owe it to our children, you know, to keep Bobo Shanti order alive and strong, you know, and setting the government how it's supposed to, you know, in the right way, you know, with the right angels, you know, and loving one another, you know, because when I look at that clip, all I saw was love, free volunteer Ethiopians. He wasn't paying them. He didn't give them no money to do that, you know, building the fence, you know, and then you can see the fence. It's like they had to go chop trees. They had to go chop wood, you know, and build them fence how you see it. It wasn't like you go to the hardware and buy a 2x6 or 2x4 and them thing there, you know. Yeah, man. So we give thanks for Dada coming and showing I and I them what unity really is, what love really is, you know. So we give thanks, man, you know, for the God of love. Holy Manuel I, Selassie I, Jah, Rastafari. Give thanks. That's my few words, you know. Blessed love, honorable my Lord. Bless.